we'll continue. Anyway, James, thank you so much for talking to Run Archer, and many congratulations on your amazing Winter Wainwright record.
Thank you.
Cheers. One of the sort of main questions, of course, is kit. Obviously, what you're wearing is so important, not only in terms of the sort of technical aspect, but I'm quite interested in things like how often did you change it, and did you have sort of planned changes, and did you stick to them?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I had quite a lot of kit. I'm very fortunate that I work at the climber shop. So over the years, I've built up quite a large cupboard of or wardrobe, sorry, of different items of clothing. But I was also kindly supported by Mountain Equipment, so a very good outdoor brand, and they really kindly sent me sort of a few jackets, quite a few mid layers, and basically in between. So I had quite a variety of kit to choose from, and I knew that with the winter environment, you don't know what you're going to get. So I prepared for the worst and had lots of it. So I always planned on, so basically you sort of do a leg, you come down to a road crossing, whereby I had two vans there, main van and then and also a support van. And I'd always have a change of clothing that if I needed to, I could always get into it, and I'd always change my top to, so it was nice and fresh. And then I mean, I would always change my bottoms, sort of like, pants if I needed to, and
shoes.
It's just shoes as well. Sorry. So I had 5 pairs of Innovate 255s that I wear pretty much all the time, and I had them in. Sorry, that's a plane. I just went through a jet. I had 5 pairs of those, but I didn't anticipate my feet swelling. My feet swelled quite a bit, and I had to go up an entire size. So sort of from the 3rd day onwards, I had to have. I was only in a bigger size, so I had a couple of spare sort of.
I was going to say, did you have to dispatch someone to go and buy bigger size shoes?
So thankfully, there was a really nice lady called Victoria Miller who works for Innovate, and she, so kindly went and got 2 pairs of size 9s, and that was on rotation then for the rest of the journey. So and again, like the people in the van, so my best mate Matt Hanley, sorry, and a good mate of mine called James Usherwood, they were always on the kit side of things, so everything was there ready, sort of always prepared. And
fabulous.
I had nothing to worry about every time I got to the van, and it was all there done for me.
How do you go running again?
I had the easy job. I was always getting fed, I was always getting watered, people were carrying my stuff,
and resting.
So for the first 3 days I was having about an hour's sleep a day, and basically because the conditions were good enough to move quite quickly, and you didn't have to worry too much about the weather. And then as it progressively sort of got more wintry, you were forced almost to stop for a little while because of the weather was too bad. It was too windy.
Oh really? Okay.
And I mean, I tried to sort of live off as little as I could, but then there was times near the end where Storm Barra came through, an actual named storm, where I essentially had to sit out for about 19 hours.
Yes.
About 85 mile an hour on the hill, so you couldn't go out on that.
Do you stick to a sort of strict timetable for resting, or are you then just taking the opportunity when it comes?
So I made a schedule, but in winter I knew it was near impossible to try and predict what was going to happen. So I always knew there was going to be changes, and I said that to sort of my supporters as well, that it's always likely to change. And I mean, in terms of rest, I would go off how I was feeling. So there was a section where I sort of did like a whole day, and then overnight, and then sort of into the morning or middle of the day the next day, and then I would have like half an hour and then I would try and continually sort of push as far as I could.
Wow.
But what I was very aware that I didn't want to do was to try and sleep on the hill. It just wasn't an option.
Okay.
So I was trying to avoid like getting really tired on the hill, because sleeping in snow and ice wasn't an option.
Well, and presumably you then also got to worry about the people that are with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd just be completely unfair for me to just try and have a nap and then freezing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did the storm? I mean, I know you're the first person to have done this, so pretty much once Tom dropped out, you were going to get the record. But did it increase the pressure on you, or did you just take it off on your shoulders and just use the opportunity?
Tricky one, because I never wanted to like see it as a race. It wasn't something that we were unfortunate that we both started on the same day. Obviously, with it being the first day of winter, we were both super keen and wanted to get it done. And I mean, we did bump into each other a few times, especially on like the out and backs on some of the legs.
Yes.
Even though like he started an hour before me, because of the way the route was, and he changed his route a little bit. Yeah, we had a little bit of a brief chat, and it was nice. It was really nice. That was just to see how he's doing, and congratulate him, say well done and stuff. But
Yeah,
it was really unfortunate that he came off, but it was very wintry, and yeah, I had a short chat with him after I got back home, and just to make sure that he was all right and stuff, and there wasn't any injuries that were sort of underlying and stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I said, if you need me sort of in the future to help you out, give me a shout, and I'm more than happy to get me out. But yeah.
Do you think you'd go back and have another crack at it? Do you feel
Definitely
the storm kind of, well, that's 19 hours I could make up?
Definitely not. No.
No, that's
No.
it. It's done now.
Yeah, that's it, done. Yeah, because for me, like, it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be wintry, and that was the one thing that it was.
Yeah.
And then one of the main reasons that I wanted to do it as well. So a lot of the people that were involved, I'd never met before. So there was some amazing like athletes in Cumbria that got involved as well, and people that I've never met. And basically, when I was planning this, I asked them if they'd be willing to help, and not a single person said like no, I'm not willing to help. So it was more of like a journey to make a lot of friends along the way, and yeah,
Community.
Yeah, exactly. It just shows how
Yeah.
strong it was.
Yeah.
It's perfect, really.
And inspiring. I mean, I'm sure that you've inspired a lot of people to even think about it when presumably it's not even been thought about before.
Yeah.
And hopefully your skills, I mean, it probably highlights how important having mountain skills is.
Yeah.
I mean, you teach them as well, don't you? That's one of your one of the things you do. But to for people to go out there, hopefully, seeing you knowing what you're doing, it will inspire people to really.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, when I was planning all this, I had a real good think about who I would put like in charge of each leg. So I would try and choose the most local person to those set of hills, and a lot of the people that I got sort of involved are all winter mountaineers anyway, so they've all got that sort of skill set of like decision making in terms of like snow condition, for example, like if a slope isn't safe enough to go across because of avalanche or any sort of situation like that, then they would already be thinking about that before I had to mention it. So it just, I mean, it's a whole team effort, and without the team, it wouldn't have been possible. So
Wow.
it shows how effective it is.
I know we talked about this earlier, but with training, I think you said you had some help from Paul Tierney.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just go running every day, or I mean, how do you prepare for 300 miles, more than 300 miles?
So, I mean, like I said, I work in the outdoors, so I'm always up a hill during the summer, or many of hills over the summer. So even whilst I'm working, it's always, I always see it as a bit of training.
Yeah.
And then he gave me like a program to sort of follow. So what he sort of mentioned was that I've already got my endurance base because I've sort of built that over the years, sort of doing lots of different rounds. But it was more focused on like the speed and maybe the bits that I wasn't so strong at. And yeah, I mean, whatever he did, yeah, worked.
It worked. Definitely
Yeah,
worked.
sure, a
I mean,
massive
what's
shout.
it like to run? I mean, that presumably once. I mean, you had really hard conditions before the storm came in anyway, but then after that, it must make it really hard. Obviously, this is where the sort of knowledge of the terrain comes in, but presumably everything's just blanketed in snow. How do you run across that?
Well, it's more like this is where obviously the more people you have involved in your team, the more efficient it is. So I knew that if there was a lot of snow on the ground, the more people I had on the hill with me, the more efficient moving would be, because what we had to do was, if there was sort of deep snow, all go in the same line and swap whoever's on the front. So
Okay.
the person on the front is doing all the hard work, and then I'm sat at the back there, sort of following the snow runnel.
So you're yes. So they've trampled it all down for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew that would be the most efficient way of moving, and I mean it wasn't always running. It was more trying to move as quick as possible without wasting loads of energy. So it was just trying to be as efficient as possible, essentially. And
does that make a big difference then to the actual speed in the end? I mean, what would it be like doing it by yourself?
Oh, I'd still be up there, I think, to be honest. Well, it's not as sort of cold now, but yeah, I mean, it makes a huge difference, because if you think about, I mean, when you get a massive dump of snow and you try and move over it, it takes forever. But the more someone goes in front of you and tramples it down, the easier it is to move over. So yeah, I mean, I always knew that. Yeah, with more legs in the hill, the easier it would be.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would have the easy job.
Well, I don't know. I don't think anyone would say 325 miles is easy. What about any more challenges? Have you got anything else up your sleeve that you think you might like to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a bit more common knowledge now, but this was always a bit of a stepping stone for me. So I always wanted to see how I fared on this to hopefully do the Winter Wainwright one day. So yeah, that's the Scottish equivalent of the Lake Wainwrights.
Who has that? Does Martin Stone still have that?
No, it's Martin Moran. So unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago in an accident, car accident. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do that one day. Again, it's a lot bigger than this, and a lot more time and preparation is needed. But yeah, I would love to do it. That would be about 3 months. So yeah, a long time.
Wow. Okay. Oh, really? It would take 3 months.
Not a week. Yeah, but it would take around that sort of time. So.
Wow. Okay. Gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a bit of time off work, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, maybe in a few years, that's the plan.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me, and all the best with that.
Thank you.
And yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's wow, 3 months.
yeah, because it's so big. Yeah, Scotland's so vast, and all the hills don't link together, so you've got to connect them all up. And
oh, really? Okay. I went to a talk by Martin, who said he did it so in his M&S woolly jumper.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did it in 83 or 5. I can't remember what day it was. But yeah, he did it quite a while ago, and I know a few people have sort of tried it since. But yeah.
Wow.
Maybe one day.
Thank you so much, James.
No worries.
I really appreciate it. All the best, and I'll I'll let you know when it's up and tag all your people. Keep everyone happy.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right. Thanks very much. Take
Cheers.
care. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.